my love, do you really love that man? It was 8 men and 4 women. How could they be so blind? How could they? I knew they sat there and called true love a crime. This is what killed me. Running tears rolled down my cheek. I felt so sorry for you. You know why? Because in my heart I knew, oh yes, baby, I knew that they would find you guilty too. Judge, Your Honor, and to the jury, I intend to prove beyond a shadow of doubt.
Yeah. Good morning. Can we get the coaches and the team captains for game one to meet over by the scoreboard, please? So that's coaches and team captains.
A mean judge, a mean jury. Oh, that's the jury of love. Oh, that's just the way it goes, baby. They found me guilty of love.
are you doing? Oh, yeah, I did see that kind of thing. It's parked out. Yeah. Right. I saw that. Okay. Good morning, roller derby fans. Before we get started, we have found that there is I believe this is a Scion XB with its lights on in the parking lot. It looks like it's a dark maroon or purple color with a license plate of Punjab 1. So if that's your car, you may want to go turn your lights off before we get into our first game of the day. Yeah. Maybe. Okay, thank you. So are these going through the live feed too? Okay.
21 people.
I'm sorry?
21 people on.
It's only 9 in the morning. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, fantastic. Whenever you get them to me, I'll be here. And we have a rolling whistle by our officials, bringing us into the beginning of our first game of Philly Fest here, hosted by Philly Juniors. This is the IC Bruisers in white taking on the black and bluegrass with the black uniforms. We'll roll through the introductions here during the game. It looks like we're moving into our first jam right off the bat. And there's our whistle bringing us in the first time of the game. Jamming for IC Bruisers. This is number 97. 97 Votar is called off on a back block right off the beginning of that whistle, giving the chance of a power jam over to the black and bluegrass. Black and bluegrass has number 22 out there. This is Peanut Butter Smackdown with the jammer star. No lead jammer as of yet. We have one jammer in the penalty box, one still on the track, and we're losing two skaters. Make that okay. One blocker and two jammers on their way to the box. So Peanut Butter Smackdown also called off on a penalty. This is going to make this a 2-minute jam with no chance for a lead for either of these two teams. Votar coming back in from that earlier back block. Still initial pass for both of our jammers. Votar is out. Completes their initial pass of the jam, now winding up to score some points. This is still a power jam with Peanut Butter Smackdown still in the box. Voltar is down on a scoring pass, but looks like is called off on a second penalty. This is a track cut. That's going to release Peanut Butter Smackdown. Seeing lots of penalties by our skaters here. Hey, it's early in the morning. We're still waking up, all of us. So Peanut Butter Smackdown back in after that earlier penalty. Peanut Butter Smackdown also out and completes their initial pass. Voltar still seated from that second penalty. That's a track cut. Peanut Butter Smackdown getting a takedown, coming around the apex stump and is brought all the way to the back of the pack. Peanut Butter Smackdown forced to recycle at the back of the pack. Smackdown on their first round of points. We time out at 2 minutes. Let's see what our Jammer referees are saying. It looks like Peanut Butter Smackdown coming out of there with 3 points and possibly a scoreless jam for the IC Bruisers. All said and done in that jam after those penalties. It's a 3-1 jam. Black and Bluegrass with that lead. Now moving into our second jam. We have a lead going to number 75 from Black and Bluegrass. This is Jaws. Jaws gets those 2 whistles. Diamond, number 612, with the jammer star for the IC Bruisers, but Jaws comes out with a 4-point scoring pass. Now Jaws winding up for a second trip through the pack. Looks like Jaws gets a toe stop out of bounds, calls off the action. 4-0 jam there in favor of the Black and Bluegrass. Going into our third jam of the game. It's 5-on-5. Our penalty box is clear. Each team starting this jam at full strength. Looks like Peanut Butter Smackdown back out there to jam for Black and Bluegrass, and Peanut Butter Smackdown is off on a penalty. Now we have number 96, Phoenix, out there in control with an IC Bruisers lead. Now Phoenix coming in on their first trip through the pack. Panic attack closing up a wall on the back against Phoenix. Phoenix sent out of bounds and forced to recycle. Looks like Poison Dart from Black and Bluegrass takes Phoenix down, coming around the inside. Phoenix coming out of that scoring pass, putting 4 points on the board for the IC Bruisers. Peanut Butter Smackdown coming back in from that earlier penalty. Phoenix now on a second scoring trip through the pack, getting some blocking by Rainbow Bite, and I believe Panic Attack working in that 2-wall. Phoenix calls off the jam before Peanut Butter Smackdown can put any points on the board, and that 5-point jam brings us to a tie. We are now 7-on-7. Moving into our fourth jam, number 75, Jaws, called off on a track cut on their initial pass. No chance for a lead for Black and Bluegrass in this jam. Coming into jam for the IC Bruisers, this is 999 Maggot.
Thank you.
IC Bruisers picking up lead on this tied score jam now. Maggot's in control, and Maggot's on a power jam. Pack advantage to the IC Bruisers as they have all their blockers on the track. Black and Bluegrass currently down 1 blocker and 1 jammer. Looks like Maggot skates out of bounds, doesn't score any points, but calls off the action. That's going to freeze Jaws in the box for another IC Bruisers power start. Roller Rat now with the star, and Roller Rat's our lead jammer. Still a tied score, 7-on-7. Looks like Roller Rat breaking that tie with a 4-point scoring pass. Roller Rat winding up for a second round of points. Diamond being called off in a clockwise blocking penalty. Roller Rat coming out with another 4, making this an 8-point jam for the Bruisers. Roller Rat still on a power jam, taking full advantage of this situation, coming in the pack, but it looks like Roller Rat is called off on a penalty. This is a back block. That's going to put Roller Rat in the penalty box. That's going to release Jaws. Jaws coming in on their initial pass, goes in to sneak around the apex, but it's taken down. Jaws forced to recycle by number 96, Phoenix. Jaws is out, completes the initial pass. Now Black and Bluegrass in a position to score. Difference of 8 points now with Roller Rat on a power jam. I'm sorry, with Jaws on a power jam. It's a 4-point scoring pass there for Jaws, bringing us down to a 4-point jam. Oh, and Jaws tries to sneak through on the inside, but is taken out by Diamond. Diamond forcing the rollback, while Roller Rat comes in from that earlier back block penalty. Bull Jammer's now in action and able to score points. It's very close. Jaws comes out with 4 points. So we're jammer on jammer now, coming out 4 points for each of our jammers. Still at a 4-point game. They're coming in for some points. Jaws completes a 4-point pass, and that brings us to a tie once again. Now Roller Rat breaking out just in the nick of time as our jam is called off. Those last 4 tie-breaking points scored by Roller Rat, bringing IC Bruisers up to 23 over Black and Bluegrass's 19. Going back to a 5-on-5 jam here, both teams at full strength. Our penalty box is empty. Our blockers spreading out their defense across the front of the pack, keeping those jammers stuck. We have no lead jammer as of yet. It looks like Peanut Butter Smackdown has that star once again for Black and Bluegrass. And Voltar called off in a track cut. So no chance for lead here for the Bruisers. Chance of a power jam in the hands of Peanut Butter Smackdown. IC Bruisers now, they're down. Looks like 2 blockers and a jammer. Pretty heavy advantage here for the Black and Bluegrass. Peanut Butter Smackdown coming out with an initial pass complete. Peanut Butter Smackdown is our lead jammer. IC Bruisers still impaired with just 1 blocker on the track. That's their pivot. Peanut Butter Smackdown coming out, puts 4 points on the board, bringing us back to a tied game. And our jammers are released. Voltar coming out, completes an initial pass. Peanut Butter Smackdown got 4 more points and calls off the jam. So we're now just at a matter of a 4-point game. 27-23, Black and Bluegrass in the lead. Phoenix out there for the IC Bruisers. wearing that Crooked River jersey. That's Tiny Tornado with the star for the Black and Bluegrass. Tiny Tornado working their way up to the front of the pack, gets past that wall. Tiny Tornado needs a jammer referee. Phoenix is out. IC Bruiser walling up to the 3 wall against Tiny Tornado. Tiny Tornado comes out. It's a scoreless jam. No, it's not. Let's see what we got. 2 points rolling in here for Black and Bluegrass, bringing this now to 28-23. It's a 5-point game. We've got Peanut Butter Smackdown out there once again, taking on number 999. That's Maggot. Maggot working their way to the front of the pack, but Black and Bluegrass reforming a tripod against Maggot. Now Pancake coming in, trying to break up that tripod. No lead jammer as of yet. A little bit of a stumble there coming around, but Maggot's our lead jammer for the IC Bruisers. IC Bruisers losing a blocker to a forearm penalty. Maggot still on the track now, coming in for a first scoring trip. Maggot coming into a tripod of Black and Bluegrass blockers. Our pack breaks up there for just a moment. Maggot coming out with 4 more points, bringing us down to a 1-point game. Maggot still in full control. Peanut Butter Smackdown coming on, taking on a 2-wall of IC Bruisers blocker, but here comes Maggot on another scoring pass, and Maggot is out with another 4, breaking that, coming out with a lead change now by a matter of 3 points. And that jam is over after seeing a lead change going over to the IC Bruisers by 31-28, so a matter of 3 points. We're looking at Zag with that jammer star for the IC Bruisers, and Zag picking up lead against Jaws. Zag's in control of the jam. Zag now in. Peanut Butter Smackdown switching to a defensive blocker right now, trying to slow down Zag. It's a foot race for these two jammers, Jaws versus Zag. Zag goes for the call-off, maintaining that lead, adding 4 more points to the board. Now looking at a 7-point game. PRDJ would like to thank 187 Killer Pads for their support this season. If you skate, you know 187 Killer Pads are the choice of more pro skaters than any other brand, with visionary designs and top-rated safety and a variety of spectacular patterns. Don't skate without your 187 pads. Now back to our game. Panic Attack out there versus Diamond. Panic Attack with that Crooked River jersey, and Panic Attack is our lead jammer. Panic Attack out there taking on Diamond. Diamond also out of the pack, so both of our jammers are in point scoring positions. Panic Attack coming in, sailing around that apex, making quick work of that 4 points. Okay, looks like actually in that jam, Diamond was our lead jammer. Diamond goes in, gets a couple points, calls it off. So down to an 8-point game, 2-3 scored in that jam in favor of the Bruisers now. 8 points, 30-38. IC Bruisers still in the lead. Peanut Butter Smackdown out there with the Jammer Star for Black and Bluegrass. And Peanut Butter Smackdown picking up lead up against number 151. That was Roller Rat. Looks like we have a couple blockers here in the box, but both Jammers were on the track. 3 points picked up by Black and Bluegrass. They're bringing us down to a 1-point game, 37-38. Bruisers with that single-point lead. Skate with confidence, whether your sport involves 2, 4, or 8 wheels. AAA is a leading global brand of helmets and protective gear worn by everyone from beginners to best skate athletes in the world. Philly Juniors would like to thank AAA for helping protect our brains again this season. Back to our game, Jaws versus Roller Rat. Jaws is in the lead. Jaws making a 4-point pass and calling off the action, bringing us to another lead change. Going back into the hands of Black and Bluegrass with a 3-point game. Moving into our second quarter of the game, about 12.5 minutes left to our first period. It's a 5-on-5 jam. Maggots out there versus Peanut Butter Smackdown. Peanut Butter Smackdown gets some blocking by the IC Bruisers pivot, but Peanut Butter is out with a Black and Bluegrass lead. Maggot being forced out of bounds on this initial pass. Maggot sneaks through. Peanut Butter Smackdown winding up for a scoring pass, but it's taken out coming around the apex. That's Jaws switching to a blocker position. Peanut Butter Smackdown taken out by number 111 Pancake just as that jam comes to an end. 3 more points added to the Black and Bluegrass side of the scoreboard now, 44-38. And we're going into a timeout called by our teams. We'll take this moment to talk about the JRDA Code of Conduct here. The JRDA exists to help everyone involved, from skates, parents, and officials to league volunteers and spectators, learn and grow in a safe, fun, and supportive environment. In order to facilitate that, the JRDA has a code of conduct that will be enforced this weekend. Here are some highlights of the JRDA's expectations. All participants on and off skates, including the fans, are expected to uphold a welcoming, positive learning environment at all times. Mutual respect and support is encouraged, and all participants will be treated with respect. All conduct on or off the track will be sporting, family-friendly, and professional at all times. Participants, again, including fans, will not engage in any behavior that will endanger the health, safety, or well-being of any attendees on or off the track. Insults directed at anyone or profanity of any kind, whether directed or not, are forbidden. Please use positive tones when encouraging the skaters and refrain from negativity toward or about any of the participants. And finally, have a great time today and enjoy some Junior Derby. Back to our game here after that team timeout has expired. Roller out there now versus Jaws. Jaws working way to the front of the pack, but is taken out of bounds and sent back by error, so no lead jammer as of yet. Jaws finding some speed on this initial pass. Jaws is out with a lead. Panic attack working some defense against Roller Rat. Roller Rat forced to recycle all the way at the back of the pack. There's a low block penalty being called. I believe that's going to Jaws. That's going to put Jaws in the penalty box and give us a 2-minute jam. So Roller Rat now on a power jam in favor of the Bruisers as they are down by a matter of 6 points. Roller Rat coming in for a scoring pass. Okay, Roller Rat is out with 4 points for the Bruisers. This power jam very likely to get us to a lead change here, as we are now just a matter of 2 points. Panic Attack guarding that inside line against Roller Rat. Roller Rat forced to recycle the back of the pack. Roller Rat trying to call off the action, but not lead jammer, so unable to go. We have to go for the full 2 minutes here with 45 seconds left to our jam clock. Jaws coming back in from that earlier low block, putting 4 points on the board for the Black and Bluegrass. Very close to a lead change here by the IC Bruisers, but Jaws with that 4-point pass now. Roller Rat in, getting some blocking by Panic Attack at the front of the pack. Now Bolt Jammers in for some points. Voltar now working some defense. We time out at 2 minutes. Timeout called by our officials here just to make sure that our skaters have a chance to get off the track safely. Big shout out to our officials and our EMTs for making sure that our skaters have the best care possible this weekend here at Philly Fest. Just under 10 minutes left to our first half of our first game of the day here at Philly Fest. 48-50, still very close. Series of lead changes here every couple jams, it looks like. 2 points separating these teams as we move into our next jam. That whistle ending our timeout, bringing us now into our next jam. Once again, 50-52, Black and Bluegrass with that 2-point lead. Jaws out there for IC Bruisers versus Peanut Butter Smackdown from Black and Bluegrass. Now, number 4, Jaws coming out with lead jammer, IC Bruisers in control. Jaws working the outside portion of the track, coming out with 4 points. Jaws now in for a second round of points. Jaws taken down by Poison Dart, but gets back up on those skates. Poison Dart called off on a penalty. Jaws with another 4 points, making this an 8-point jam, and another lead change going into the hands of IC Bruisers. Now Jaws on a third scoring pass. There it is. 12 points so far by Jaws. Minute left to our jam. Peanut Butter Smackdown unable to score so far in this jam. Jaws meeting some defense at the back of the pack against those Black and Bluegrass blockers. Meanwhile, IC Bruisers working a 2-wall against Peanut Butter Smackdown at the front of the pack. Jaws on their 4th trip through the pack. And there's those 4 points, making this a 16-point game, and what I believe is to be the highest scoring jam of the game thus far. There it is, Jaws making quick work of that 5th pass. We are now at a 20-point jam. IC Bruisers making a significant lead change now with the 20 points. 20-plus points that are scored in this jam. Poison Dart making another hit against Jaws and going to the box once again. Incomplete scoring pass for Jaws. 3 more points on the board. All said and done, a 23-point jam, and that jam is over. That jam now with a 21-point lead over the Black and Bluegrass, 73-52. We've got Jaws out there again versus Zag. Jaws creeping up to the front of the pack. IC Bruisers free-forming some defense against Jaws. Jaws brought all the way to the back by number 404 error. Jaws coming out with a Black and Bluegrass lead. Looks like IC Bruisers is down a jammer in the box. So a power jam now in the hands of Black and Bluegrass with Jaws in control. Diamond working some defense back of the pack against Jaws, bringing the rollback and sending Jaws out of bounds once again. Zag coming back in from that jammer penalty. Jaws is out with 4 points. Black and Bluegrass reforms their defense against Jaws at the back of the pack. Zag called off on a blocking with the head penalties, and it put Zag in the box for a second penalty in this jam. So Jaws still unopposed on this power jam. Black and Bluegrass working a strong defense at the back against Jaws. That jam is called off. That's going to freeze Zag in the box and by a power start for Black and Bluegrass in the next jam. Going in for a timeout here called by our officials. PRDJ would like to thank all of the officials who are here this weekend. Without you, this weekend would not have been possible. The skaters are so grateful for your time, support, and guidance as they navigate the game of roller derby. And a special shout out to all of the photographers who are here this weekend. Your photographs not only make these skaters look amazing, but provide them with special keepsakes that will last a lifetime. We are thankful to have chosen to spend your time and share your talents with us. Drew Wiedemann, Andrew Keys, Ross Sieber, and all of the other league photographers who are here with us. Thank you so much. our skaters taking their positions here back on the track. Looks like our timeout here going to end pretty shortly. It's going to be a power start in the hands of Black and Bluegrass. That rolling whistle brings us to the end of that timeout. Boom, crouching down, working the inside pack ref position, and it looks like Panic Attack with that Crooked River jersey is our jammer. There's a multiplayer block penalty being called, and number 9484 Panic Attack is out with a Black and Bluegrass lead. Panic Attack on a first round of points. Panic Attack is out. We are jammer on jammer now as Phoenix has that jammer star for IC Bruisers. Scoreless jam here for the Bruisers. 4 points added to the board for Black and Bluegrass. We were at a 21-point game not long ago, but now just a matter of 11 points separating these teams. A little under 5 minutes left to our first half of our first game. And this is number 123, Blazing Grace with the jammer star out the jam for the first time for the Black and Bluegrass. Diamond, number 612, has the star for the IC Bruisers. Blazing Grace coming in, but is called off on a forearm penalty. So that's gonna put Blazing Grace in the penalty box, sitting down for a forearm penalty, handing a power start now over to the IC Bruisers. Philly Juniors would like to send a big thanks to the staff here at the Northeast Racket and Fitness Club. We love skating at the NERC and appreciate all they have done to accommodate our needs throughout the season. And PRDJ would especially like to recognize Miss Anna from the NERC for all of her support in the past few years. We love and appreciate you so much. We are in the midst of a timeout here called by our officials. Speaking of our officials, our NSOs this morning for our first game of the day, we have Kitten Around, Hot Mess Express, B Sharp, Dan, T-Bone, Judge Double Wapner, Darcy, Tombo number 5, and keeping score. Our referees in stripes and skates this morning, James Joyce, Boom, Shebra, Chase Roundabout, Moss Ref, Smash Ketchum, and Pineapple Macabre. There's a rolling whistle bringing us to the end of that official timeout. 65-73. So 3 points were scored, bringing us to an 8-point game. IC Bruisers with that lead by 8 points, and they have the jammer on the track with a power jam. So this is number 999. This is Maggot. Maggot with lead now, and Maggot's in full control. Maggot is through with 4 points, sneaking on the outside line, helping to keep IC Bruisers lead in this game. Now Maggot coming in on a second round of points, and it's still a power jam. Maggot is out with another 4. Blazing Grace in from the last penalties in the last jam there. That was a forearm. Both jammers now back on track. Maggot completing a third scoring pass. Now Blazing Grace has 4 points. Maggot now coming in for a fourth round of points. Blazing Grace is out though with another 4 points for the Black and Bluegrass, making this an 8-point jam for Blazing Grace and a 16-point jam for Maggot, keeping IC Bruisers lead in the game, 73-89. Closing in now on our halftime. We have a timeout called by our officials with 2.5 minutes left to our first half. While we are getting close to halftime of our first game, we want to give a thank you to Wawa. Fuel your day with Wawa, your all-day, everyday convenience store. If you aren't from the Pennsylvania area or haven't been, anything you need, Wawa's got it. Gotta have a Wawa. Timeout coming to an end, bringing us into our next jam. Once again, Black and Bluegrass 73, IC Bruisers 89. 2 and about a half minutes left to our first half of the game. And Jaws, number 75, is out for the Black and Bluegrass. So it's going to be a Jaws versus Jaws jam. It's the Black and Bluegrass Jaws who is in control, but getting some block now with number 404 error. Both of our Jawses are out. Black and Bluegrass's Jaws putting 4 more points on the board, calling off the jam now, looking at 77-89. Now under 2 minutes left to our first half of the game. It looks like this might be Maggot taking the jammer star here for the Bruisers. Yes, it is, taking on Peanut Butter Smackdown. It's close, but Peanut Butter Smackdown taken down by Pancake. Peanut Butter Smackdown with an incomplete scoring pass. That means Maggot is our lead jammer. And Maggot calling off the jam before Peanut Butter Smackdown can make any points. So this is a scoreless jam. Maggot sacrificing the jam with a minute left to the period clock. Still at 77-89, IC Bruisers with the lead. Going into what could be the final jam of our first half. It's a 3-4 pack. Black and Bluegrass with the pack advantage. It's another Jaws on Jaws jam. And once again, number 75, Jaws from Black and Bluegrass has the lead. Jaws coming in with an apex jump, takes a tumble. Let's see what our referees are saying as far as points scored. No points there by IC Bruisers. And it is a 4-point pass for the Black and Bluegrass. That's apex jump completed, and Jaws landed inbounds, scored those 4 points, called off the action. We are at an 8-point game, 81-89. IC Bruisers in the lead, but that doesn't mean anything. We've seen probably half a dozen lead changes in the game. We are in halftime. We'll come back to you with more Derby action here in just under 15 minutes. Coming into our second half of our first game. Once again, this is the Iowa City Bruisers in white taking on the black and Bluegrass in black. Gonna make a very quick run through our rosters here as we move into our second half. Skating the day for black and Bluegrass, we have number 020 Pipsqueak, number 11 Shiner, number 12 Tiny Tornado, number 123 Blazing Grace, number 15 Cherry Bomb, number 17 Rainbow Bite, number 22, Peanut Butter Smackdown. Wearing number 222, Tragedy and 43, Tuxedosaurus Rex. 666, Tinker Hell. Number 7, and the Captain, Poison Dart. Number 75, Jaws. And 9484, Panic Attack. But we are back to our first jam of the second half. Coming out to jam for the first time for Iowa City. This is a Weasel, number 777. And Weasel is our lead jammer. Jaws has a jammer star for black and Bluegrass. It's like a little bit of a skater trip there. Weasel coming in, calling off the jam, but not before scoring 4 points. Going into our second half of the game with an 8-point difference now, 81-93 IC Bruisers. That's Iowa City, bringing their differential up just a little bit higher. Oh, quick work of that initial pass here by Blazing Grace, number 123. So Blazing Grace is our lead jammer. Number 999 Maggot with that jammer star for Iowa City. Blazing Grace making quick work of that 4-point pass. Gets those 4 points, calls off the action, now bringing us back to an 8-point game, 85-93. Our next jam brought to us by Pivot Star. Pivot Star was brought to life in 2006 by the passion of roller derby and the desire for quality athletic wear. Today, Pivot Star can be found worldwide, not only in the sport of roller derby, but on various other athletes as well. It's famed for fit and quality, while sticking to the classic necessities of being an athlete, and simply being comfortable in everyday life. Located in Ontario, Canada, delivering worldwide, number 75 Jaws has a star for black and Bluegrass, but Jaws is called off on the illegal contact penalty, so no chance for a lead for black and Bluegrass. Zag with that star for Iowa City. Zag trying to power their way through that black and Bluegrass defense on the inside line, but Zag sent out of bounds and forced to recycle. Zag, but all the way to the back of the pack and must restart this pass. Now Zag is out, and there's 2 whistles. That means Zag is our lead jammer. Zag selling his power jam as Iowa City has a pack advantage. Looks like Zag called off on a track cut. So looking at a 2-minute jam now, no chance for a call off by either of our jammers. Now number 75 Jaws from black and Bluegrass is on a non-callable power jam. So Jaws is out now with the threat of another lead change happening in just a few more points. Jaws already has 4 points for black and Bluegrass. Now Jaws working on a second round of points. IC Bruisers blockers reforming at the front of the pack against Jaws. Jaws taking a hip check by Diamond and comes out with 4 points, bringing us now back to a tied score, 93-93. This jam still underway and no chance for a call-off due to that jammer penalty. Now Jaws at the front of the pack working against an Iowa City tripod held up by number 151. This is Roller Rat. Zag coming back in from that earlier track cut. So both jammers now back on track. We're back to some 5-on-5 derby. 2 minutes have expired. Looks like each of our jammers coming out with 3 more points. So going into this next jam, I believe this is going to be a tied score, 96-96. I think we have Tiny Tornado out there with the Jammer Star and maybe moving into a timeout called by our officials. So our jam will not be starting. It looks like it will be a 4-3 jam here. Pack advantage going to Black and Bluegrass. All right, moving off this quick timeout here. Once again, looks like it's going to be a pack advantage in favor of Black and Bluegrass with Iowa City down on blocker. Weasel coming out the jam for the second time of the jam, and Weasel's our lead jammer. Tiny Tornado with that Crooked River jersey taken out by number 333. That's Little Hit. Weasel on a scoring pass for Iowa City. And Weasel is out, breaking that tie. 4 points and bringing Iowa up to that century mark at 100. Weasel still in control, still on the power jam, taking on a 4-wall of those Black and Bluegrass blockers. Black and Bluegrass losing Tiny Tornado to a jammer penalty, so this is a power jam now in the hands of the Bruisers. Weasel still in full control. Weasel in for a third scoring pass, but there's some whistles being blown. Let's see what's happening with these penalties. Looks like Weasel will be called off on a jammer penalty, so lead will be lost. We're gonna have a 2-minute jam, and that's gonna release Tiny Tornado from the penalty box. So 8 points scored by Weasel just before that penalty was assessed, so 96-104. Still in the midst of this jam, though. Tiny Tornado coming back in from that earlier penalty. Diamond working solo at the front of the pack against Tiny Tornado. Tiny Tornado getting some assistance by Panic Attack, and Tiny Tornado is out, completing this initial pass and now able to score points. Those icy Bruisers blockers swarming the inside lines, shutting down Tiny Tornado on this scoring pass. Now Tiny Tornado is up front, but it has to get past this 2-wall of Diamond and number 111. This is Pancake. Pancake bracing that 2-wall. That jam is over. So it looks like Sheepra holding up 3 points here for Tiny Tornado. So let's see, 99 now, 107, just down to an 8-point game. Our next jam brought to us by Strong Athletic, starting out in 2014 as a t-shirt company with the mission to create a space where people are proud of who they are. Founder Nadia Keene created Strong Athletic for a very specific reason: to give athletes, both conventional and those that fall outside of the mainstream, a safe space in which they can be who they are and communicate with one another unapologetically. The Strong Athletic reminds you that you do not need anyone's permission to demonstrate your strength. You are Strong Athletic. Stay strong. Back to our jam here. Number 4, Jaws has lead for the IC Bruisers. Peanut Butter Smackdown with the star for Black and Bluegrass. So Jaws has 4 points now underneath them. Make that 8 points. Now both jammers are out as we are jammer on jammer. Peanut Butter Smackdown with 4 points. Jaws now completing a third trip, making this a 12-point jam. Now, later on in our previous half, there was a 21-point lead, but Black and Bluegrass doing a fantastic job catching up those points. Jaws is out now with 16 points, all said and done. Jaws still in the lead, still in full control of the jam. Peanut Butter Smackdown having some trouble making it through that pack with Iowa City's blockers working full strength. Captain Poison Dart being called off on a forearm penalty, making things a little bit easier here for Jaws to complete this scoring pass. This scoring pass will bring them up to the 20-point jam mark. Both of our jammers having some trouble making it through the pack. Tinker Hell 666 working some blocking, working some defense there along with Cherry Bomb. But Jaws is out with a 5th pass complete, making this a 20-point jam for Iowa City. All said and done there, that was a 20-point jam by Iowa City. 7 points by Black and Bluegrass. That brings us to a 21-point game, I believe. 20 minutes left to our game. Black and Bluegrass with the pack advantage. It's a 4-3 pack. Number 75, Jaws, has the star for Black and Bluegrass, and Jaws picking up a Black and Bluegrass lead, but that jam is called off. So a scoreless jam here by both of our teams. Just a reminder that food is absolutely not permitted on any of the rink area. All drinks must have a cover or cap so we do not have any spills. Please be sure to throw out all of your trash. We thank you in advance for your help in keeping our facility clean. Moving into our next jam, a scoreless jam just a moment ago. We got Blazing Grace versus Roller Rat on the jammer line, and Blazing Grace 123 picking up lead for Black and Bluegrass. Iowa City losing their blocker to a pivot, so it's a 2-4 pack in favor of Black and Bluegrass. Roller Rat takes a spill and recovers. Blazing Grace, though, picking up 4 points, so it's a foot race for our jammers. Both jammers are in point-scoring positions. Looks like Cherry Bomb, number 15, I believe, taking down Roller Rat. So 8 points here scored by Blazing Grace. Roller Rat coming out with 4 points, and Blazing Grace calling off the jam, keeping the point scoring low for Black and Bluegrass. Let's see what we got. 3 more points going up there for Black and Bluegrass. So Black and Bluegrass picking up 11 points. I see Bruisers 4. Looking at Black and Bluegrass, 117, Iowa City, 131, 1844 left to our game. We are in the second half. For those who are just tuning in and listening on our live feed, we have an IC Bruisers lead now. Voltar, number 97, in control. 75, Jaws out there jamming for Black and Bluegrass. Now Jaws is out of the pack, but here comes Voltar on a scoring pass. Voltar skimming that outside line, stays in bounds, has all 4 points. Jaws from Black and Bluegrass also with 4 points. Nice apex jump by Voltar, making quick work of that scoring pass. 8 points on the board so far for Iowa. Oh, back-to-back apex jumps by Voltar, but Voltar looks like crashing into a blocker and maybe called off on that illegal contact penalty. So Voltar now off on the penalty box. Voltar made an apex jump, landed in bounds, and then crashed into an opponent. That is not legal. That is a 30-second vacation to the penalty box. So Voltar losing lead. Leadless jam now. Number 75, Jaws out there on a power jam, and Jaws picking up 4 more points, closing in. This is now a 10-point game. Jaws now still on a power jam, completing another 4-point pass. Schieber holding up 4 points. Now down to 6 points between these two teams. Voltar coming in from that earlier penalty. So both jammers back on the track. Still no lead, but it's a 5-on-5 jam. Voltar called off on either a track cut or an illegal re-entry back there. So Voltar will be returning the penalty box for that caught penalty. Still a power jam in the hands of number 75, Jaws for Black and Bluegrass, and very likely looking at a power start in our next jam. Jaws thirsty for some more points here, and we time out at 2 minutes. Looks like 1 more point going up there for Jaws. So Jaws with a 17-point jam for Black and Bluegrass. Now 134, 139. It's a 5-point game, and we are moving into a timeout called by our officials. A reminder that if you are on skates, you must be in full gear, and for your safety and for the safety of our spectators, skates are not to be worn on the bleachers. Safety first. Thank you very much. Our next game, which we anticipate to be around 11:15 a.m., will be Philly All-Stars versus Southside Revolution. We are still in the midst of this, timeout here called by our officials. While we're in this timeout, we'll go through the roster here for the IC Bruisers. Kind of running out of time here in the beginning of this game to go through the rosters fully. So skating this morning for Iowa City, we have number 1104, Diva. Number 111, Pancake. 151, Roller Rat. 256, Zag. 32, Frostbite. 333, Lil Hit. Number 4, Jaws. Captain. Number 404, Error. 505, Cherry Bomb. Number 612, Diamond. Number 777, Weasel. Number 96, Phoenix. Number 97, Voltar. And as we've heard numerous times this morning, number 999, Maggot. So each team sending us a Cherry Bomb and a Jaws to skate together. Still looking at a 5-point game. 16 minutes left to our game here. Still in the midst of this timeout called by our officials. Looks like our next jam will still be a power start from that penalty. I believe that was an illegal re-entry penalty called late in the last jam. So I believe I see Panic Attack from Crooked River wearing that black and bluegrass jersey out there to jam on this power start. Coach Boom over here. Well, I shouldn't say Coach Boom right now. Boom out here trying to get everybody pumped up. I know it's still early. We're all still kind of waking up. Probably the most energetic people here are our skaters on the track. We can always count on Boom to get our fan base here up and rolling. We can't say the same thing about Andrew Keys, though. He totally didn't hear me. He's giving me the cold shoulder. Oh, now I'm getting a dirty look. Wow. Wow, there's daggers heading my way from our photographer. No more shout-outs for you. Now, at JRDA Championships, we saw Andrew Keys fanning the skaters during a very long timeout. We got the call in the championship game. I could use some of that fanning right now. While we're in this timeout here, once again, an acknowledgement for our wonderful officials who are here making this game and this tournament possible. Our officials for the first game of the morning are NSOs. Now, it always takes more NSOs, that's non-skating officials, for a game to happen than it does referees. Sometimes games can be occurring with as few as 3 or 5 referees, but we need a lot of NSOs for games to happen. So our NSOs this morning, we have Kitten Around, Hot Mess Express, B Sharp, Dan, T-Bone, Judge Double Wapner, Darcy, Tombo number 5, and keeping score, our referees wearing the stripes and the skates on the inside of the track now, talking about what kind of pizza they want later on. We have Jams Joyce, Boom, Shebra, Chase Roundabout, Moss Ref, Smash Ketchum, and Pineapple. So we are doing our dollar shout-outs today. I believe you can pick these up at the Philly merchandise table. Our first shout-out here goes for the Bruisers. Play hard and stay positive. This next one is for Diamond, play and block hard. And this third one here goes to Diva, stay strong. So pick up these shoutouts. We are doing these dollar shoutouts here during the day, I believe today and tomorrow. Once again, our second game of the day is expected to be around the 11:15 mark. That's going to be Philly All-Stars versus Southside Revolution. Then again, at around 1:30, Philly All-Stars versus Iowa City Bruisers. Our fourth game of the day around 3:45 will be Southside Revolution taking on Black and Bluegrass. Hey, there's a rolling whistle that we've been long awaiting for now. So we're moving back into our next jam. It's still a five-point game, 134-139. IC Bruisers are in the lead with that 5 points. So it's a 4-3 packet advantage here in favor of Black and Bluegrass. Black and Bluegrass also down, Iowa City down a jammer and a blocker. So number 94-84, Panic Attack out there as lead jammer for Black and Bluegrass. And Panic Attack called off on a forearm. So that's going to put Panic Attack in the penalty box, and that's going to release Weasel. Weasel started this jam in the penalty box, so Weasel needs to go and complete that initial pass. Weasel, a little hit being released roughly around the same time. So Iowa City back up to full strength right now. Weasel tries to complete this initial pass, but is sent out of bounds on the inside of the track and forced to recycle. Our referees calling some penalties there, sending some skaters to the box, thinning out that pack for our two jammers. And Weasel is out of the pack now. Not lead jammer, but is able to score points. Panic Attack coming back in from that earlier forearm. Sneaking ahead of Little Hit. Okay, Panic Attack coming out with 4 points. Weasel also with 4 points. Unable to call his jam off with no lead jammer, so we got to go for the full 2 minutes. Iowa City forming a 3-wall now at the front of the pack against Panic Attack. Panic Attack push out of bounds. Roller Rat with that defense against Panic Attack, and we time out at 2 minutes. So it's a 7-4 jam there. Black and Bluegrass with those 7 points. They're at 141. Iowa City 145, so we are down to a 3-point game. And now we are in the final quarter of the game with about 14 minutes to go. And a very quick lead in this next jam by Jaws. This is, again, a Jaws on Jaws jam. Okay. This is Iowa City's Jaws in the lead for this game. Now, Iowa City's Jaws is taken out by Tragedy and with that defense on the outside line. It's a 4-point scoring pass completed by Iowa City's Jaws, and Iowa City's Jaws calls off the action, keeping this at a 4-0 jam, extending that Iowa City lead by 4 more points. So 141 now, 149. Iowa City still with that small lead by 8 points and 13 minutes left to our game. For those who are listening on our live feed, thank you for joining us here at the Northeast Racket Club for Philly Fest, day 1 of Philly Fest, hosted by Philly Roller Derby Juniors. 4-4 jam here. Each team down a blocker in the box. It's an Iowa City lead. Roller Rat in control. Blazing Grace with the jammer star for Black and Bluegrass. Now both jammers are out of the pack, able to score points. Roller Rat coming in, making quick work of that scoring pass. Blazing Grace not far behind. Both jammers going through the same hole up the middle, scoring 4 points and calling off the jam there. 4-4, so 145, 153. Nobody further ahead or behind with that 4-on-4 jam. Black and Bluegrass with the pack advantage. Iowa City down 2 blockers, so 4-2 pack. Number 75, Jaws out there from Black and Bluegrass picking up lead, and Jaws is in control. Number 999, Maggot with that jammer star for Iowa City. Now Jaws is called off on a track cut, so okay, so we're seeing what's going to happen with this couple of events here. It looks like a call-off might have been attempted by the jammer, but a penalty was also called. So let's see what our officials are going to end up doing with this. Okay, moving into a timeout now called by our officials. 145, 155, Iowa City with that 10-point lead. Iowa City going in for an official review, questioning the end of the previous jam and whether or not a skating out of bounds should be assessed. Our officials have dealt with that situation before the review was called, so that review, for all intents and purposes, will not have happened. We are going to be moving into our next jam. We're back to Jaws versus Jaws, and Jaws is in the lead. I should say Jaws from Black and Bluegrass has the 2 whistles. So Black and Bluegrass in full control of the jam now. Looks like we're at some 5-on-5 derby action. Our penalty box is clear. Little hit with a hit on, oh no. Okay, so Black and Bluegrass is called off on a track cut. So little hit sent Black and Bluegrass's Jaws out of bounds. Black and Bluegrass's Jaws called off on a track cut as a result of that. So that Black and Bluegrass's Jaws is seated in the box for a track cut. So Iowa City with a 10-point lead, and they are on a power jam. So no lead jammer for this jam. Iowa City's Jaws on a power jam, making quick work of that scoring pass, riding the inside line, picking up 4 points, making this an 8-point jam. Now Black and Bluegrass's Jaws re-enters from that earlier track cut. Both jammers back in action, but neither one can call off the jam. So we're gonna go for the full 2 minutes. Iowa City picking up another 4 points, making this in a 12-point jam so far. Black and Bluegrass's Jaws coming out with 4 points. Iowa City with another 4, making this a 16-point jam for Iowa City. Iowa City's Jaws is in for another 4. Let's see what's going on. There's some whistles. There's some whistles happening. It looks like Panic Attack taking Iowa City's jammer out of bounds on the inside, and Panic Attack with the rollback there on Jaws. Meanwhile, Black and Bluegrass's Jaws has 4 more points, so Black and Bluegrass with a 12-point jam. Iowa City make this now a 20-point jam. All right, and there's 2 minutes. This jam is over now, 157-175. Iowa City with the lead. Just under 9 minutes left to our game. All right, going into a timeout here called by our officials. During this timeout, we would like to give a big thank you to 187 Killer Pads for their support this season. Hey, if you skate, you know 187 Killer Pads are the choice of more pro skaters than any other brand, with visionary designs and top-rated safety and a variety of spectacular patterns. Don't skate without your 187 pads. Still in the midst of this timeout by our officials. It's an 18-point game, 157-175. Iowa City with the lead, but hey, that does not mean anything. We have seen bigger differentials in this game by Iowa City, closed up by Black and Bluegrass. So this game, the win is still on the table for either of these two teams. There's a rolling whistle. That's going to bring us back down to some more derby. It's going to be a 3-on-3 pack here. Each team down a blocker. Let's see who we have on the jammer line. We have Blazing Grace taking on Pancake, and it's a Black and Bluegrass lead with Blazing Grace in control. Now Blazing Grace is out, coming in now on a first scoring trip through the pack. Iowa City stretching their 3-wall across the front of the pack, but Blazing Grace is out. Blazing Grace picking up by, looks like Shebra is holding up 2-3 fingers there for Blazing Grace. That's going to bring Black and Bluegrass now up to 160. 2 points coming in for Iowa City's jammer at 177. All right, our next jam underway. We have Jaws versus Maggot. Nice blocking by Tinkerhell. But Maggot is our lead jammer. Maggot getting some blocking by Panic Attack, and I believe that's number 43, Tuxedosaurus Rex. Maggot calling off the jam, sacrificing the jam. Let's see what we got for points here. Looks like we're not seeing any points for Black and Bluegrass. So looking at very possibly a 0-0 jam, 160 to 177, 17-point game. Iowa City still in the lead. Panic Attack out there with that Crooked River jersey, and Panic Attack is our lead jammer here for Black and Bluegrass. Number 4, Jaws, has that lead for has that start for Iowa City. Panic attack, sacrificing the jam once again. So a second scoreless jam for both of our teams. Down to just over 6 minutes left. 160, 177, still 17 points separating these teams. 4-3 pack here in favor of the Black and Bluegrass. Black and Bluegrass also picking up lead as they've got Blaze and Grace back out there. And I believe Blaze and Grace has picked up lead each time they are out to skate. So Roller Rat being called off on a forearm, handing a power jam over to Blaze and Grace. So Black and Bluegrass now on this power jam. Blaze and Grace is in full control. Here comes Blaze and Grace on the first round of points. That power jam in the hands of Blaze and Grace, not going to do any help for Iowa City. Blaze and Grace calling off the jam. That's going to freeze Iowa's jammer in the box. 4-0, all said and done, I believe. 164, 177. So Black and Bluegrass has a power start in the next jam. So 5 minutes left. It's a 13-point game. I hope everyone's excited for some action. Looking at an official review here by Iowa City. Official review called by Iowa City. Their bench coach has brought their concerns to our officials. They are working on going over exactly what happened in the action in question, and once they have a ruling, we will bring you the details and move on to the next jam.
We ain't got no place to go. Let's go to the punk rock show. Darling, take me by the hand. Gonna see a punk rock band. There's no use in TV shows. Radio, rodeo. Wanna get into the crowd. Wanna hear it played real loud. We ain't got no place to go, so let's do the punk show. Darling, take me by the hand. We're gonna see a punk rock band. There's no use in TV shows. Radio, rodeo. I wanna get into the
All right, we do have an outcome of our official review. Iowa City questioning whether or not one of their skaters had received a high block, which would issue a penalty over to a Black and Bluegrass blocker or skater. When the officials got together, they determined that there was not enough information and not enough to make the call. So as per officiating standards, without a clear definition of initiation and impact, no call can be made, so they will have lost that review. We have Jaws versus Roller Rat jamming here on this jam with about just under 4 minutes left to our game. Black and Bluegrass had lead. Their jammer called off the action, but not before picking up 2 more points. Looking at now 166, 177. It's an 11-point game. Black and Bluegrass making a 20-some point comeback earlier on in the first half of the game. Now we're still looking at about 4 minutes left. Four to 3 pack here in favor of Black and Bluegrass. Our next jam is underway. Blazing Grace out there versus Maggot, and Blazing Grace is our lead jammer. Maggot getting some defense in the pack on this initial pass by the Black and Bluegrass blockers. Here comes Blazing Grace, though, on a power jam. Maggot is out. Blazing Grace gets out of bounds and calls off the jam before Maggot can score any points. So 3 more points going up there for Black and Bluegrass. Scoreless jam for Iowa City, 169, 177. Now down to a matter of 8 points with 3 minutes left to our game. Once again, a 4 to 3 pack here in favor of Black and Bluegrass. Iowa City is down a blocker in the box. Jaws versus Roller Rat, and Jaws from Black and Bluegrass has lead. Black and Bluegrass walling up with a 3-wall against Roller Rat. Roller Rat stuck on this pass. Jaws is in, and there's 4 points on the board. Jaws now is in on a second round of points. Oh, Jaws goes out of bounds and has to restart this pass, as we are now down to a matter of let's see what we got. 3 more points scored by Jaws. A 3-point scoring pass with 2 minutes left to go. 176, 177. So is that 2 minutes to go to about 2.5, and 1 point separating our teams. Now going in for a timeout called by our officials. We are selling our raffle tickets here also during the tournament. You can get 1 ticket for $2. You can get 10 for $6. So, I'm sorry. Okay, you can get 6 of them for $10. I'm sorry, 6 for $10. So, hey, take part in that. We're going to go ahead and call our winning tickets here later on. And I'm being told that there are some pretty awesome prizes. So, take part in our raffle, because that's got to go to somebody. Someone's taking home these pretty awesome prizes. As a reminder here, as our day moves forward for Philly Fest, just a reminder that food is not permitted on any area of the rink. All drinks must have a cover or cap so we do not have any spills. Please be sure to throw out all of your trash. We thank you in advance for your help in keeping our facility clean. We're back to our next jam. 1 point with these two teams, separating these teams. 176, 177. Blazing Grace out there with a Black and Bluegrass lead. Black and Bluegrass certainly having the reputation of two comebacks so far in the game. Maggot out there with the jammer serve for Iowa City. Blazing Grace out there calling off that jam mid-scoring pass. And an immediate team timeout called by Black and Bluegrass. And it looks like Blazing Grace did have 3 points, bringing the lead change now over to Black and Bluegrass, 179-177. So taking a 60-second break here as we have at least 1, maybe 2 more jams of the game. Black and Bluegrass picking up the lead change by a matter of only 2 points. It's safe to say that still anything can happen in the next couple minutes. All right, our team timeout has come to an end. Moving now into our next jam, under 2 minutes left on the clock. 179-177. Black and Bluegrass regaining their lead in the game by those 2 points. And we're off to the races. Jaws out there for Black and Bluegrass taking on Roller Rat. Black and Bluegrass forming a tripod held up by Tiny Tornado at the front of the pack, trying to slow down Roller Rat. Roller Rat cannot get past this tripod. Meantime, Jaws is up, taking on a 3-wall of Iowa City blockers. And Jaws is out with a Black and Bluegrass lead. Both jammers are out now. Jaws coming in, taking a bit of a tumble. Couple skaters there going down. There is a penalty whistle being blown. Oh, Jaws going to the penalty box. No, both of our jammers called off. So certainly no chance for lead. This will be the final jam of the game with both jammers going to the box, losing lead. No chance for a call-off. So far, no points have been scored, but I believe both jammers have completed their initial passes. So Jaws is in on a Black and Bluegrass scoring pass. Jaws is in. Now Iowa City stretching out their 3-wall, turning into a tripod against Jaws, now turning into a 4-wall. Tiny Tornado and Tinkerhell coming to the front of the pack, trying to rescue Jaws from this defense. Roller Rat creeping up into the pack too, is taken down by Tiny Tornado. Jam called off just on a matter of safety, making sure that we can get all of our skaters back up safely and checked out. Once again, big thank you to our EMTs who made this game possible, making sure that our skaters have the best care that the area has to offer. So looks like coming at the end of that jam, 4 points there by Black and Bluegrass brings them up to 183 over that 177 scoreless jam for Iowa City. Once again, make sure join us here for our second game of the day. We anticipate that will be starting around the 11:15 mark. That will be the Philly All-Stars taking on the Southside Revolution. After that, right around what we think will be the 1:30 mark, that will be Philly All-Stars taking on Iowa City Bruisers. There's a rolling whistle. We're going to be able to squeeze one more jam out of the game. Very close score. The win for this game is still on the table for either of these two teams, especially with these dimmer penalties that are known for causing some serious impact. So number 612 Diamond has this star, along with number 123 Blazin' Grace. Blazin' Grace is our lead jammer, and Diamond called off on a jammer penalty. So Black and Bluegrass has lead, and Blazin' Grace calling off the jam. Comeback succeeded by Black and Bluegrass as they were down not once, but I believe 2 or 3 times by a pretty significant amount of points, but they have recovered and looking at the chance of a 10-point win. Right now, our referees will meet with the scorekeepers and make sure that all of the points and the math look good. You can feel the energy over here from the Black and Bluegrass as they are taking home what they expect to be the win of the first game of the day. And the score is final. The officials have spoken. Iowa City 177, Black and Bluegrass with the hard-fought 10-point win, 187.